Several years ago, in our previous church, we lived in a little town called Kenai, Alaska. If you've never experienced an Alaskan winter, let me tell you, December there doesn't speed up. It sort of settles in and sort of sinks into the land. The sun shows up for what feels like a coffee break, and the nights stretch on long, like they're trying to teach you something. I remember having conversations with some old time. I call them old timers. You know, they were older than me and younger than Moses, but these old timers would tell me stories of their memories growing up in this small town when the winters and the snows got so deep that the inlet would freeze over, and they would have to carve trenches between the neighbors' houses, and it was almost like snow corridors. These drifts were taller than you can possibly imagine. People just didn't drive. They didn't run errands. They really just sort of built their world around the people that mattered the most to them and the ones that were closest to them. Because, well, when you're digging a snow trench, you kind of want to not dig it that far. And they shared meals. They shared heat. They shared stories and burdens. The winter sort of carved away the unnecessary rush and left only what was essential. It was kind of a month of huddling close. And that's the way Alaska used to be in December. Now, the snows haven't been as deep in recent memory, and things are a little bit different there in Alaska. But I think the memory of that slowdown time still sort of huddles deep into the memory of those that were born and raised there in Alaska, and the ones that shared those stories with me. The book of Isaiah, chapter 41, talks about those that wait on the Lord will renew their strength. Notice that the promise that God is giving through the prophet Isaiah isn't for those who hurry or those who keep up or even those who never stop moving. The strength that he talks about comes with waiting, from slowing down, from breathing deep, from leaning into God instead of the grind. Waiting isn't passive, it's trust. It's pacing your life according to his strength, not your schedule. I've come up with a few lists in this season. One of them is just a short list of 3 truths that the holiday run makes us forget. The first truth, and I think this is probably the most important, is simply this: that rest is not a reward, it's practice. If you wait till you're done to rest, you'll never rest. Honestly, you won't. Truth number 2 is people matter more than plans. Just like in Alaska, the deepest connections are formed when the world slows down. These are important things to remember when you think about this season. Truth number 3 is you cannot pour out what you've never stopped to receive. If December drains you, you're not failing, you're human. And it's time maybe to recharge. I don't know. I do remember my time in Alaska, and I've enjoyed it immensely. I've had some great friends that are still up there, and just some memories that will last my entire life. The pace of life seemed to shift in Kenai with the seasons. You learn to respect winter. You learned to let the dark teach you the stillness. The cold teach you closeness. And I think that's really what December should be like. And on a day like today in northern Kentucky, when the schools are closed, the roads are slower, the snow is deep for here, a couple, 3 inches, a little easier to remember that December is not about a sprinting to a finish line. It's not a performance. And really, it shouldn't be a pressure cooker, no matter what we try to make it as. But it's a moment to pull the people you love closer, to breathe deep, to rest your soul, and let God strengthen what your schedule has just worn down to nubs.